are several issues that matter to the American people. Look, we all have our thing, taxes, spending, abortion, whatever it may be, foreign policy. But there is one issue out there that creates the largest disconnect between the public, between what almost everyone in the public feels, and what almost everybody who makes laws and covers politics for a living feels, and that is illegal immigration. A new poll just came out this morning showing 70% of Americans want stronger immigration enforcement, and that's not some kind of outlier poll. Poll after poll after poll after poll show the American people want a stronger southern border and then want more deportations, not less. You can't turn on the news. You can't turn on a Hollywood movie anymore without some infomercial out there about the plight of the illegal immigrants in this country. And we didn't cross the border crossed us, and all that stupid nonsense. And it's both parties in D.C. when it comes to politics, too. It's Republicans who want the cheap labor. It's Democrats who know they're guaranteed Democrat votes. And you know what gets done on the border? What actually gets done? Nothing. Donald Trump has been very successful so far in building some new border wall and increasing some deportations. But if you actually look into the subject and find out how many illegal immigrants are here in the United States versus how many we're able to deport, you would cry in your hands. Do you know the estimates are 10 to 20 million illegal immigrants, which some people will laugh at. Some will tell you it's 30 to 40 million. But let's just go on the low end and say it's 10 million. Do you know how many employees we have in ICE in the United States of America? Do you know? Do you want to take a guess? Allow me to destroy your guess. 6,000. 6,000. Oh, but it gets better. Do you know how many of those ICE employees are actually tasked with the apprehension and deportation of illegal immigrants? Wait for it. About half that. 3,000 people, ladies and gentlemen, versus 10 million. Oh, and I forgot to mention, hold on. 100,000 new ones every month. The problem with illegal immigration is not just not going away, it's getting worse and worse and worse. And as the Titanic fills up with water, nobody seems interested in plugging the hole or bailing very much of it out. Time after time, we've had this conversation. But the thing is, what I keep telling people is the regular American citizen does care. And that's not just a Republican or Democrat issue. I have I don't know if you want to call it pleasure, but I do know some Democrats. And they will tell you privately, yeah, we have to deport illegal immigrants. What are you talking about? You see, for years, this was not a Republican versus Democrat issue. I can show you Democrat after Democrat after Democrat in the history of the United States who openly campaigned on stronger borders. We are bordered with a narco state. Frankly, a lot of people would call it a narco-terrorist state. And there are parts of it with a border fence that a 3-year-old child could crawl through. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for the United States of America to have this situation on our southern border. And it gets even better. We have candidates like Elizabeth Warren who are, just listen.
The president's deeply immoral actions have made it obvious we need to rebuild our immigration system from top to bottom, starting by replacing ICE with something that reflects our morality and that works.
Something that reflects our morality. Their immigration enforcement officers, their job is simply to find somebody who's here illegally, detain said person, remove said person. That's their job. But we all know what she's saying. Look, we don't have to do that thing everyone else does where we kind of, who knows we know what she means. We don't need immigration enforcement. There should be no interior immigration enforcement, according to Elizabeth Warren. And Elizabeth Warren is not just some crackpot. She's a crackpot with a good chance at winning the Democrat nomination for President of the United States of America, which puts her one economic recession or major Donald Trump scandal away from the White House. These people are real. It's not just Elizabeth Warren. It's across the Democrat Party. Here's Bernie Sanders.
Today, I make a very simple promise to you that protecting the undocumented, that comprehensive immigration reform, that reinstating the legal status to the 1.8 million young people in DACA, that creating a humane border policy will be at the top of my agenda. This will not be something we will do in a year or in 2 years. We will bring the best minds in the immigrant community together to help us write the best laws and to use the powers of the presidency to undo the terrible, terrible damage that this president has done, not just to the immigrant community, but to the integrity of our entire country.
Whoa, that's funny. That makes Bernie Sanders the only commie in history who didn't want secure borders. Do you realize what the American left is, ladies and gentlemen? You do realize this is not normal, right? Even the commie scum throughout the history of mankind, the worst of the worst, the Bolsheviks, wherever you want to go, even they believed in strong border enforcement. Granted, half the time they were just trying to keep their people in, but even they didn't want to stop. Even they didn't want to just wide open the borders, just kick the border open, let everybody in, because they knew their crazy socialist systems would collapse under the weight if you just imported any third world person who decided they wanted to hop the border. It's madness. Nobody supports this. The regular citizen, I should say, doesn't support this. And you know what's so funny is I see Republicans making this mistake all the time too. Well, we have to win the Hispanic vote. Have you guys ever talked to a Hispanic person in the world? Some of my best friends are Hispanic. I talk to them all the time. I have yet to talk to a single one who's all, you know what, just throw the border open, screw it. I came here legally, but now I think everybody should just get to traipse right across. That's not how people think. Normal people do not think that way. Washington morons who, well, let me check the poll numbers, think that way. It's pathetic. And on top of this, we're not just talking about politics, we're talking about a real human cost. I want you to imagine something right now. You put your husband, father, grandfather in a car, or in this case, on a tractor, and send him off to the store, and the next thing you hear is your phone ringing. And you answer it, and he's dead. Why? Because that piece of gutter trash you see on the screen got drunk and ran into him and murdered him. 50-some years old. That's the reality of it. Let us not forget Molly Tibbetts either. Dead. And by the way, the show's only 1 hour long, so I don't have time to go through every single United States citizen either killed or mangled by an illegal immigrant. Oftentimes an illegal immigrant who had already been deported multiple times, but we drop them off in Mexico and they say, oh, thanks, I'll see you in 5 minutes. And they turn around and walk right back to the daggone border. And I'm tired of people paying lip service to it. Vote for me and I'll do something about it. And none of them ever do. It's pathetic. And this issue is driving a wedge, not between Republicans and Democrats, between the political elite, the pundits and the politicians, and the people who actually have to live with this crap. And I didn't even talk about jobs. Oh, I didn't even want to go there when we're talking about life and death of other people. It's time to start demanding real action. And I watched this so many times in my life. I used to live in Arizona. I saw every Tom, Dick, and Harry politician be a complete border squish. Well, I mean, we should do comprehensive immigration reform during the off-election years. And an election year rolls around, and there's his stupid face on the television. Well, just elect me, and we'll build the wall. The wall never came, but the illegal immigrants kept on coming.